Well, hey everyone, good morning. Happy Labor Day weekend. I'm trying this again for a third time. This is a TV kind of Substack post. That's not mine. Came with the apartment back there. But TV is something I tend to be contemptuous of. I really have avoided watching it on the regular pretty much my whole adult life, if I'm being honest. I'm late Gen X, so I have been indoctrinated with it from a very, very early childhood age through to peak teenage 1990s latchkey kid, watching much music after school and everything even since, right? But since I don't know, I want to say early to mid 20s, I really haven't found much to want to watch on TV. And so, therefore, I have never really had much in terms of regular subscriptions outside of watching stuff with my kids from time to time. And I suppose, including NBA sports entertainment, somewhat NHL sports entertainment been a while, right? I didn't really follow the leagues last year particularly. But that being said, I'm now officially 3 weeks out from leaving Fort McMurray. My apartment is being turned back to the landlord. I'm vacating the premises and I'm still looking for work. I'm still looking for the next great Canadian educator role that's suitable for me. And I have no way of knowing how long it could be. I went through a period of 16 months at one point within the past 3.5 years of not having work. So I'm really unclear on how long this is going to be, right? I don't know. So in the meantime, I'm trying to make the best of the situation by doing some cultural stuff, including writing on the Substack about things that may be potentially of interest to others, not just to me. And so, hence, scoping out Disney Plus for about $15 Canadian. You can get the ad free subscription. And I honestly just didn't know really what content they have, what they carry. It's been a while since I watched shows on Disney with my kids. We're talking quite a few years at this point. So I checked it out, and of the things that the very large amount of content that's there, I thought, just for starters, I would try watching Daredevil, Born Again, because that is a reboot. It's a new series, but it's based on an older, longer running Netflix show, and I thought I would give that a try. Didn't really win me over immediately out of the gate. I speak to that a bit down below. I may have to give that one another shot. I just kind of preemptively, within the first 5 minutes, just really didn't care for the tone or the writing or whatever. I found it uh, insufficiently motivating to want to watch beyond 5 minutes, which probably just me, but may have to give that one another shot. I also checked out the brand new series Alien Earth. It's based obviously on the film franchise. Iconic films, I want to say. Those first three Alien films absolutely slayed me when I was a kid, to use a term, when I was a younger adult. I've revisited those, I've shared those with my kids. And the TV show is a very worthy inheritor of the franchise. It world builds beyond the scope of the films, and the ways that it does so are very compelling for the attributes of the franchise. Now, the attributes of the franchise essentially are jump scares, sympathetic characters, and really nasty, gnarly practical special effects in the form of the xenomorph. H.R. Geiger's, the Swiss artist's notable creation, and it delivers. I'm just at the point in my life where I would want to share that experience. I would like to share watching that show, for instance, with my kids or potentially others who, it's part of the fun of those shows or those films is checking out the reaction of the people around you. It's sort of a social thing. So for me, I'm just somebody who's not necessarily going to want to put my full energy into watching a show filled with violent and grotesque images, however effectively they're rendered and however good the story is. So that's where I ended up with that show. Checked out The Bear. The Bear has gotten so much hype, so much hype. It's a working class show, and I can see why people like it. I watched the first episode of the first season. Right, it's 4 seasons in. The fourth season just debuted this year, so it's a current show. And I was impressed by the two main actors, who I'm going to blank on their names. I know one of them plays Springsteen in the new biopic, and the other lead male character is in the Fantastic Four film as the Thing, Ben Grimm, the Thing. But they're younger actors. Actually, the dude who plays the cousin, the older cousin in the show, Ben Grimm guy. He's about my age. He's 47, I think, 46 or 47. It's a totally worthwhile show. I worked in restaurants. I worked in restaurants for about 8 years. I kind of tried to parcel out the math. I worked for 3 years at McDonald's. I worked in high school, which part time, but heavy part time, right? A lot of hours at that place. I worked at a few different restaurants around Fredericton washing dishes, 3 or 4 places before I finally ended up at the Lord Beaverbrook Hotel in Fredericton, which that was a gig which lasted me a couple of years, some of it full time. I also worked at Eastside Mario's as a line cook downtown Halifax for the 2 years that I lived there. And I even made a return to the dish pit, washing dishes, when I was on my way to becoming a teacher. So when I was 29 years old, back in Fredericton after doing some stuff, um, I've done my time in the kitchen, and the bear captures the mentality, the joys, and the stresses of those kinds of roles, I think, pretty authentically. It's written, I think it's a comedy. I understand there's some debate, but it's a family drama package thrown in there too, which is just, it's interesting to see how the actors navigate that, I guess. And all the actors, it's an ensemble show, not just sort of the main two, what, the cousin and the brother who's returned to town to run the guy to his deceased brother's restaurant or sandwich shop or whatever it is. You don't want to just watch that kind of show for the details. It's effective. It's effective for what it is. I could see checking that out again. I could see watching all of them and then maybe doing a Substack post or something. Actually, at some point, I'm actually hoping I have a job by then, in the near future, that is, so that maybe I don't have time for that. But again, as far as a workplace show goes, it's good. I think the highlight of what I watched was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. 17 seasons in. It's been going since 2005. And it's something where I just watched the first episode of the 17th season because it actually just came out a couple months ago. It came out this summer. And everything I understood about the show was confirmed and then some. Basically, five misanthropes hanging out dysfunctionally, working class setting, very, very predictable television beats, but at the same time, the episode for the first episode for the season opener, the season opener. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just really cleverly written, and the actors have such chemistry after working together for so long. It's kind of they kind of riff on the found footage kind of show, I guess reality show, right? The show within a show, the Office, right? It's the same kind of format. So they do that just for the first episode this season, and it's funny. It's set in an elementary school, so the teacher stuff kind of jumped out at me as just being that is some funny stuff, actually. So again, just in terms of a casual TV viewing habit, I could see myself watching it. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna, but there's at least one thing coming up on the platform that looks to me really cool. The Lowdown. The Lowdown. It's a noir kind of show with pretty strong comic beats, it looks like from the trailer, starring Ethan Hawke. But I think what's even more compelling about it to me is just the fact that it's actually based on a real person. And the real person, they didn't even, they're not even around anymore. It's a contemporary story. It's a contemporary story which has been ongoing even just up until 2015, 2020, thereabouts. So the fact that we have an actor of Ethan's stature stepping in to do a contemporary kind of film with strong noir and comic beats to me is like, all right, I'll watch this. I'll certainly give it a try. It's coming on later in September during the period which I think I would probably end up renewing for a second month if I'm going to even watch the whole thing. So I think basically Disney Plus has me on the hook just because of that show. I think for another month of October. I can't see any reason to keep watching it. I can't see any reason for keeping a Disney subscription beyond that. But anyway, could be interesting. Hope you're enjoying the Labor Day weekend and take care for now, everybody. Catch you later.